My mother gave us two choices. The first was to go with her to the Lin family, where I could attend the best high school, but could only attend a domestic university. The second was to stay in our hometown for school, and after high school graduation, I could study abroad. My sister spoke up first. Mom, I want to go with you to the Lin family. My mother smiled with relief and then turned to look at me. Your sister wants to go with me. You should let her. In the future, you can send her abroad, and that will be my responsibility as a mother fulfilled. Seeing my sister clinging to my mother with a look of expectation, I knew she had also been reborn. Unfortunately, William would never fall for her. Chapter 1. Lily, there's a lot to take care of at the employer's house, so your sister and I are leaving today. Take good care of yourself while we're gone. After packing up her bags, my mother left with Lisa, completely different from last life when she had stayed for 10 extra days, trying to convince Lisa to come with her to the Lin family. In the previous life, after my mother laid out the two choices, Lisa also grabbed the opportunity. However, she chose to study abroad. After my parents divorced, I was given to my father. For a whole decade, my mother never came to see me, though I thought about her every single day. It wasn't until my father passed away, and the police took me to my mother's house, that I was reunited with her. When Lisa chose to study abroad, I was extremely happy. At last, I could be with my mother, but my mother wanted to take Lisa with her. She stayed at home for 10 days, constantly trying to persuade Lisa to come with her. Lisa firmly believed the world abroad was better. Even when her employer urged my mother to return, she never changed her mind. In the end, I went with my mother to the Lin family and met William. He was handsome, aloof, and elegant, excelling in his studies. He was the white knight in every girl's heart at school. I couldn't help but fall for him. I understood that we were worlds apart, and I could only bury that feeling in my heart until after the college entrance exams, when William, drunk after a party, pinned me against a wall. Lily, would you go study abroad with me? I turned my face away, controlling my emotions. I can't afford it. William smiled, and the whole basement seemed to light up. I'll pay for you. In that moment, I realized the person I had secretly admired for 3 years felt the same way about me. A wave of happiness overwhelmed me. I excitedly told my mother that William wanted to take me abroad for school, but all I got was a heavy slap from my mother. You're not going. When you chose to come to the Lin family with me, you gave up on studying abroad. The money I saved is for Lisa to go abroad. I covered my face, trying to explain. William said I don't have to pay for anything. He'll cover the tuition. My mother sneered, looking at me with disdain. You're shameless. You'd climb into bed for money? You should know your place. Look at who you are, and who he is. Someone like him would never look at you. Once he gets tired of you, don't expect me to pay for anything. Forget about going abroad. If you don't listen, don't ever call me mom again. Perhaps because I lacked maternal love since childhood, my greatest fear was losing my mother. In despair, I rejected William, but William solemnly told me, distance is not a problem. I can buy the plane tickets. When I went to college, we began a long-distance relationship. He flew to see me every month, and the sweetness of our love filled me with hope for the future. But when my mother found out that we were in a relationship, she secretly asked William to look after Lisa, who was also studying abroad. William, unaware of the family situation, foolishly took on the role of a brother-in-law, caring for Lisa. Then one day in our senior year, I received a message from Lisa, along with a photo. Lisa, topless, had her arms around William's neck as they lay on a hotel bed. Sister, I've already gotten together with William. Please stop chasing after him. I had been in a relationship with William for 3 years, and I knew he would never betray me. The first thing that crossed my mind was that William had been set up. Furious, I called Lisa, but I didn't notice the truck rushing toward me. After my soul left my body, I heard my mother and Lisa's conversation. Your sister's death doesn't matter. Grab William's heart quickly, and you'll be the lady of the Lin family. Lisa laughed with satisfaction. Mom had the foresight to have William take care of me abroad, giving me the chance to take that photo when he was drunk. I had originally planned for Lily to give up on her own, but I didn't expect her to die so suddenly. Seems like fate is on my side. Once William's heartache fades, I'll go to him and offer myself. I had always believed that, no matter how biased my mother was, she would still love me as her daughter, but I never expected her to not even feel the slightest sorrow for my death. Devastated, I drifted off to find William, but when I arrived, I saw him holding my photo, having ended his life in the bathtub. It was then that I understood. William's love for me surpassed even life itself. In a frenzy, I used all my strength to trip Lisa, sending her plummeting down the stairs, watching her fall to her death. My soul finally dissipated. I never expected to return to that fateful day of decision. This time, Lisa chose to go to the Lynn family. She thought that if she went, William would fall for her, but she was wrong. William would never fall for her, and I would make them pay for what they did in the last life. Chapter 2. Once my mother and Lisa left, my aunt quickly used the excuse of needing to renovate the room to urge me to move into the dormitory earlier than expected. In the past, when my mother worked as a maid for the Lynn family, we lived at my uncle's house, and my mother would send my aunt a living allowance every month. In the previous life, after my mother and I went to the Lynn family, she gave extra money to ensure Lisa was well taken care of at my uncle's house. Lisa had been living well there. Now it seemed that my mother had stopped sending the allowance. I didn't argue. I packed my things and left. Before school started, I still had one more place to visit. After leaving my aunt's house, I went to the bank. Every year on my birthday, my father would put aside some money for me. That money was something only I knew about. I withdrew the money and took a long-distance bus to a remote cemetery. It was a stormy day, and I hid behind a tree in a raincoat, waiting. Just before dark, William, drenched from the rain, rushed in, followed by several bodyguards. He was soaked to the bone, his narrow eyes cold, but his steps were firm. He stopped in front of a tombstone and frantically pulled aside the grass. "Young master, it's pouring rain. The necklace must have been washed away. We can come back after the rain stops," one of his bodyguards said. William acted as though he didn't hear them. When he was exhausted and close to giving up, I stepped out from behind the tree. "Excuse me, are you looking for this?" I pulled a necklace out of my pocket. William's eyes lit up as he quickly walked over. Seeing him drenched, I held up my umbrella to shield him from the rain. He trembled as he took the necklace, his expression relaxing. "How did it end up with you?" "In the previous life, after William and I got together, he once said that his greatest regret in life was losing the necklace he had made with his mother that summer when he was 16. So, I had come to the cemetery to help him make up for that regret and, along the way, to meet him." I smiled, shrugging. "I found it when the rain washed it down. I saw you looking for it for a while, so I thought it might be yours." "Thank you. This necklace is very important to me. What can I do to repay you?" William asked, though he still kept a distant, almost cold demeanor. I hesitated and said, "Can you buy me a bowl of instant noodles? I'm cold and hungry." William paused and then laughed softly. "All right." Half an hour later, after some insistence on my part, we shared our first bowl of instant noodles together. I didn't expect instant noodles to taste this good. He said, in the past, when we were together, he always loved instant noodles. After we finished, William asked for my contact information, saying he wanted to thank me. I smiled and politely declined. "We'll meet again if fate allows." As I turned away, I couldn't hold back the tears that welled up in my eyes. I wanted to run to him, tell him everything about the past life, and tell him how much I missed him, but I knew he would think I was insane. I didn't give him my contact information because I knew where he would be going after high school. We would meet again. He would believe it was all fate, not premeditated. Chapter 3. Finally, school started. High school courses were easy, and I began planning my second meeting with William. During the National Day holiday, I found a part-time job cleaning at the ice hockey rink. On the third day, William came to practice. I secretly watched him from behind. When he was almost done, I spoke up softly, "You should twist your wrist when passing." William suddenly turned around, and although I couldn't see his eyes under his hat, I could feel his shock. "It's you! How did you spot my weakness?" I was far from able to spot his weaknesses. He had told me about them himself. I feigned ignorance. I can tell just a little. Do we know each other? William took off his hat, and his eyes sparkled with surprise. I exaggerated my reaction, opening my mouth wide. It's really you. At lunch, we ate together. You're underage. Why are you working here? Shoo, don't let the boss find out. I'm pretending to be an adult. Do you really need the money? My dad died in a car accident, and my mom took all the money and left with my sister. What else can I do but work? William was silent for a moment. Then come practice ice hockey with me later. I hesitated. I still have to clean. I'll pay you $5,000 an hour. Okay. Mr. Sponsor. William laughed again, almost spitting out his food. After finishing the game in the afternoon, William invited me to eat again. Just as I was about to agree, I saw Lisa standing outside the rink, watching us. Let's reschedule. I'll leave first. As we exchanged contact information while settling the payment, I went back to my hotel. Later that night, William sent me a message. Did you get home safely? I couldn't help but smile as I replied with just one word, Chapter 4. After the holidays, I began preparing to sign up for the debate competition. In my past life, William and I knew each other, but we were in different classes. He was in class 1, and I was in the last class. At home, he lived on the top floor, and I lived in the basement. We were two completely unrelated people. It was a debate competition that brought William to notice me. This time, I was determined to shine in the debate competition. However, when I was preparing my materials, I discovered that my old high school had no intention of registering for the competition. I was furious and packed my things, sleeping in the hallway outside the principal's office. The principal, unable to resist me, finally agreed to help me form a team and register, but I would have to cover the fees myself. Fortunately, many students in the school were eager to participate, and we worked together to prepare, staying busy and full of energy. Sometimes, William would send me messages. Each time, I would stop and read each word carefully, several times, before patiently replying with just a few words. Before the winter break in the first year, I led the debate team to the finals. When William saw me, his eyes widened in surprise. Are you looking for another part-time job here? He asked. I showed him my school badge. I'm here for the finals. He glanced at my badge, and his eyes immediately widened. You're the debater from Maple Leaf School, the one everyone's been talking about. Talking about? I asked, puzzled. William's expression softened, his gaze intense. With the level of your school, getting into the finals is almost miraculous. Half the audience is here just to see your team captain. Let me introduce your team captain to me later. Just then, one of my teammates ran over. Captain, our seats are over there. Let's go. William stood still for a moment, his gaze changing as he looked at me. I waved my fist and smiled confidently. See you at the competition. William! There were 4 teams in the finals. We were up against another school first. In my past life, I had participated in this competition, so I already knew the topic and was familiar with the weaknesses of the opponents. It was no surprise that we won with overwhelming advantage. Throughout the competition, I could feel that familiar gaze growing hotter and more intense. When William competed, I sat in the audience opposite him. As usual, he was calm and composed, methodically dismantling every attack from the other side. After winning the match, I noticed his gaze seeking mine. I quickly pulled my teammates away and left. The more love one can't have, the more desperately they crave it. When William sent me a message, I simply replied with busy. The next day, during the final match, William and I were seated opposite each other. In the past, he was the first speaker, and I was the second. I knew his style and could help him block any flaws. Now, his weaknesses became my points of attack. An hour later, William stood up and extended his hand to me. Congratulations to your team. The familiar warmth of his hand spread through mine. I bit my lip, holding back tears that threatened to fall. After the match, William was surrounded by a crowd. Even though he had lost, he was still the star of the show. But he pushed his way through the crowd and, with his long legs, walked straight toward me. A smile tugged at his lips, and his eyes held a complicated, indescribable emotion. Lily, would you like to have dinner with me this afternoon? The usually aloof William was actually inviting a girl to dinner. The audience fell silent for a moment before erupting into screams. I can't believe it. William is smiling at that girl and asking her to dinner. Oh my God. I can't imagine what it would feel like to have dinner with William. That girl is beautiful, too. And she won the competition. My teammates teased me, pushing me forward. Captain, go ahead. Go ahead. You two eat. We'll sit at another table. I tilted my head, about to nod in agreement, when suddenly someone burst out from the crowd. Lily! No way. How could you? Lisa's face twisted in rage as it grew larger in my view, just as she was about to charge at me and push me. William stepped in front of me, his expression dark. The crowd began to murmur. She's the daughter of William's family maid, always following him around. People say William might fall for her, but clearly, he doesn't even look at her. She's just a toad trying to eat swan meat. She doesn't even know her place. Sure enough, even with the change in fate, William would never fall for Lisa. Chapter 5. In the previous life. After William and I got together, I once asked him why he liked me. William said, "You may be the daughter of a maid, but you always act with integrity and never bow down or act meekly. You seem gentle, but there's a fierce determination in you that allows you to handle problems on your own. I like your seriousness, your independence, and your self-respect. When I'm with you, I feel secure." And these are the qualities that William admired in me, qualities Lisa didn't have. She wasn't interested in studying, always dreaming of marrying a rich man to soar high. In the previous life, it was my mother who spent a lot of money to send her to a no-name university abroad. Coincidentally, it was in the same country as William. She was also weak and cowardly. Every time we had conflicts, she wouldn't confront me directly. She would either ask my mother to back her up or secretly do little things to get back at me. Someone like her, even if we were to start over, even if she were next to William, he would never like her. When Lisa saw the school name on my badge, her face turned incredulous. It's impossible. Fanya High School wasn't even in this debate. How could you be here? William's gaze darkened. Do you know what you're talking about? Fanya High School won the debate championship. Lisa's eyes flickered. Then she suddenly looked at me. It seemed like she realized I had also reincarnated. I raised an eyebrow, showing no emotion. A trace of panic flashed in Lisa's eyes. She shrieked to William. William, she's lying to you. She knew you were attending this debate, so she tried every way to get close to you, just to meet you. William's tone became impatient. Sorry. Lily and I have known each other for a long time. I remember you. You're the daughter of the maid in my house. When you were at home, you broke the rules and kept sneaking upstairs. If you keep pestering her like this, the Lin family won't tolerate you. After hearing that, Lisa's eyes turned, and she suddenly looked at me. Sister, William is about to fire our mother. Aren't you going to say something for her? The young man before me froze, then turned to me for a questioning look. I calmly nodded. She's my sister, Lisa. The discussion around us resumed. They're sisters? Then they're also maids' daughters, right? William's been hexed. Look at the people around him. Why does it feel like these two sisters are strangers to each other? The students from Huaxi High School were all rich or from prestigious families. For them, the daughter of a maid was unworthy of being involved with William. My teammates couldn't take it anymore. What's wrong with being a maid's daughter? I'm a janitor's daughter, and we still beat your school. I'm the son of a taxi driver. So what? Let's see whose abilities show in the competition. The situation got chaotic. Lisa smiled smugly. We're all maids' daughters. So who deserves William? I sneered inwardly. She couldn't have him, so she wouldn't let me near him either. Too bad. She didn't understand William at all. William's gaze softened. So, they are the family that abandoned you. I smiled. Let's enjoy today. No more talk about unpleasant things. William understood and nodded. Let's go then. Time for dinner. I pulled my arguing teammates along and followed William outside. From a distance, I saw Lisa's vengeful stare. I couldn't help but curl my lips in a slight smirk. The show was about to begin. Chapter 6. When William learned that we had come by long-distance bus on our own, he offered to send us back to school. The principal had already received news of our victory and was waiting at the door with the teachers. As soon as we got out of the car, the principal greeted us with a smile and handed me an envelope. "Lily, you really gave our school honor. Here's the reward from the school." I opened it to find around 30,000 yuan. This is just the money I advanced, the principal's being a bit stingy. The principal's face turned red with embarrassment. My teammates chimed in. "Yeah, we helped too. How come there's nothing for us? Give our share to Lily. She's been paying for the expenses during the competition." The principal awkwardly laughed. All right. Everyone gets their share." I glanced at William beside me and turned to the principal. "Principal, since I helped the team win the competition, can I stay in the dormitory during winter break?" The principal hesitated, his face full of difficulty. "It's not that I'm unsympathetic, but the dormitory has no water or electricity during the winter break, so it's not livable," the homeroom teacher asked with confusion. "Lily, don't you have a place to stay? What about your parents?" I lowered my head, silent. My teammates, who knew my situation, put their arms around me. "Lily, let's go. Stay at my place. We'll celebrate the Chinese New Year together." I looked at her gratefully but didn't say anything. Finally, William's cold voice broke the silence. "No need to worry. Lily will come home with me." The homeroom teacher frowned and looked at William. "Lily, you're doing well in school, but you can't start dating too early." William cleared his throat. "Lily's mother works at my house. I'll take her to find her mother." After packing up, I got into William's Maybach, but William didn't take me home. Instead, we arrived at a small house. "I know you don't want to see them. This house used to be where my mother lived. It's cleaned regularly, and it's not far from my place. You can stay here peacefully, and call me if you need anything." Looking at the familiar house, I took a deep breath to suppress the sourness in my heart. In the previous life, after we confirmed our relationship, William took me here. Every time he returned to the country, we would meet here. No one knew this house better than me, and no one understood its significance more than I did. I turned to William. "Why are you so kind to me?" "Huh?" William's face turned slightly red, stammering. We have fate. I can't just stand by and watch. Consider this a congratulations for your victory." I raised myself onto my toes, leaning my face closer, eyes just inches from his. "Isn't it because you like me?" William's breath caught, his ears turning crimson. He stepped back involuntarily. I'll go rest first." William quickly retreated, leaving me alone. I couldn't help but laugh. 16-year-old William was so easy to tease. Chapter 7. The next morning, Mom called. "Lily, what are you doing?" "How do you know William?" "I met him through a part-time job." "Part-time job? Who told you to do that?" I sneered coldly. "When you both left, you didn't give Uncle any living expenses. He kicked me out the same day. If I don't work part-time, how can I survive?" Mom was momentarily speechless, quickly changing the topic. "Why are you talking about that? Listen to me. Don't make a fool of yourself in front of the young master." A chill ran through me. What kind of mother speaks like this about her daughter? I refused to back down. "Then you'd better keep an eye on Lisa. I heard she's always following people around. I think she's more shameless than me." Mom panicked. "Can Lisa be like you? She was born to marry into a wealthy family. She's the only one who deserves to be with the young master. Anyway, I'm telling you, if you ever meet the young master again, don't call me Mom. "Oh, okay, madam," Mom exploded. You Lily, originally you were supposed to be with your dad. I had no obligation to take care of you. Now you're being so rebellious. Don't even think about studying abroad in the future." I sipped my water, suppressing the disgust rising in me. "You only care about me because you want the 800,000 compensation from the accident. Studying abroad? That's just a lie to make me stay quietly in the old home. Do you think I'm that naive? In my past life, I only learned the truth after I arrived at the Lin family's house. Mom had told Mr. Lin she only had one daughter and wanted to bring her to live with them. Mr. Lin agreed and even promised that Lisa and I would go to school together. It seemed like she was letting us choose. But in reality, she only wanted to take Lisa away. Studying abroad was just a way to placate me. Otherwise, when I arrived at the Lin family in my past life, she didn't want to spend a single penny on me. This time, as soon as she left, she cut off my living expenses. All along, her heart had only been with Lisa. When I hit the nerve, there was silence on the other end of the phone for a long time. It was almost 9 o'clock, and I walked into the living room holding the phone. In the living room, there was an old-fashioned clock that buzzed every time it struck the hour. At 9 o'clock sharp, the buzzing sound echoed through the room. The person on the other end sounded like they'd seen a ghost. "Lily, where are you?" "I'm not sure. William brought me here and told me to stay for a while." "Impossible. That's the house his wife used to live in. How could the young master let you stay there?" Mom often came over to clean the house, and she knew better than anyone how much William cared about this place. I smiled lightly, lowering my voice. "Seems like this house is very important to William. Doesn't that mean I'm important to him too?" "Mom, I'm also your daughter. If I join the Lin family, doesn't that make you the mother-in-law of the Lin family?" There was a moment of hesitation in her tone. "But what about Lisa?" I saw my opportunity and threw out the bait. "Actually, there's another way to let Lisa benefit from the Lin family." "What way?" "The Lin family doesn't just have William. Lin's CEO has been single for many years." There was a long pause on the other end of the phone. What do you mean? Isn't it common for maids to marry their employers?" "You've been working for Mr. Lin for years, so you should know his personality by now. And you had children early. You still look good. Have you never considered becoming the lady of the Lin family?" Mom was clearly stunned by my words, and her voice softened. "Are you talking nonsense?" "I'm not talking nonsense. Anyway, Lisa has no chance. If you marry into the Lin family, Lisa would be the young lady of the Lin family." "Are you trying to harm me?" "I'm just telling you. Relying on others is not as good as relying on yourself. If you really love Lisa, how can you make her the young lady without fighting for it? Think about it. It's better to act sooner rather than later. After all, age waits for no one." I hung up the phone and stretched lazily. In my past life, Mom had thought about this, but she didn't act on it because of Lisa. Now, with Lisa out of the picture, it was time for her to step in. Chapter 8. On the fourth day, William came. I leaned against the doorframe, staring at him. His cheeks were slightly flushed. "I came to see if you needed anything," he said. I smirked. "You just wanted to see me, didn't you?" William's face instantly turned red. His mouth opened slightly, but he avoided my gaze. I mainly came to bring you something," he stammered. Why hadn't I noticed before how amusing he could be? Suppressing a laugh, I glanced at the shopping bag in his hand. "What is it?" Relieved that I had stopped teasing him, William let out a breath and pulled something out of the bag. 5 years of college entrance exams, 3 years of simulated tests. I stared at him, dumbfounded. As William smiled, "High school academics are demanding. You shouldn't slack off during the holidays. Come on, let's do a few sets of problems together." He placed the books on the desk, set up the chairs, and gestured for me to sit, as if inviting me to a royal banquet. So this was how the young master expressed his affection, through study sessions. No wonder in my past life, after the debate competition, William had insisted on studying and solving problems together. As the sun set, we ate dinner downstairs. I took a selfie of the two of us, tagged the location, and posted it on my social media with visibility set only for Lisa. Not long after William left, there was a knock at the door. Lisa stood outside, her face livid with anger. "Lily, do you even know what this house means to William? What gives you the right to live here?" I looked at her, unfazed by her impotent rage. "What gives me the right? The place I hold in William's heart," I replied calmly. Lisa's expression faltered, her eyes filled with venom. "I separated you two in the past life, and I'll do it again in this one." I tested her resolve. "You had Mom's help last time. Does she still support you now?" Lisa's eyes widened in shock. "It was you. What did you say to her?" She told me to stay away from William, so Mom had taken the bait. I invited Lisa inside. What could I have said? I just helped her see that William likes me. Either way, we're both her daughters. Who ends up in the Lin family shouldn't matter to her, right? Impossible. Mom only sees me as her daughter, both in the past life and this one. When it comes to personal gain, who cares about family ties? Didn't she acknowledge me as her daughter just to get that 800,000 yuan? Lisa fell silent, her defenses beginning to crumble. You two always flaunted your deep mother-daughter bond. Now, I'd watch it unravel. I placed my hands on her shoulders, gently pressing her into a chair. In the past life, you tried to come between William and me, even costing me my life. But William still died for me. Now, William already has feelings for me. You can't succeed again. We're sisters. There's no need for us to fight to the death. The Lin family doesn't only have William. Lisa's confusion was evident. The Lin family only has William, right? I smirked, lowering my voice temptingly. There's Mr. Lin. You've seen him, haven't you? Even in middle age, he's tall and handsome, with the charm of a mature man that far exceeds William's youthful appeal. You're young and beautiful. If you make a move, wouldn't it be easy to win him over? When that happens, the Lin family will be ours to command. Lisa's expression shifted. Her interest peaked. But Mr. Lin is rarely home. How could I? I know when he'll be back. I'll keep William busy that day. Whether you succeed depends on you. You'd really help me? Lisa asked, suspicious. I feigned sincerity. Of course. Didn't the last life teach you anything? Fighting only ends in mutual destruction. Cooperation is the only way to win. Besides, we both share the secret of our rebirth. We should be allies, not enemies. Lisa exhaled deeply, relaxing. Big sister, I never expected you to help me like this. If I succeed, I'll make sure Mr. Lin approves of you and William. Then I'll leave my future with William in your hands. As I sent Lisa off, I warned her not to tell Mom. She might not be able to handle having a son-in-law her own age. Lisa left with a knowing smile. Chapter 9. William started coming every day. Having already gone through high school once, I found the practice tests easy. Each time, I would finish quickly and rest my head on the desk. Watching him, his brows furrowed and then relaxed. His eyes flickered as he worked. Fine beads of sweat formed on his nose. His lips turned slightly red. His Adam's apple bobbed, and the tips of his ears flushed. I etched these moments into my memory, making up for the shyness of my past youth. When I hadn't dared to look at him directly, William's Adam's apple bobbed faster. Finally, he muttered through gritted teeth, "If you're done, go rest." Is there something written on my face? I leaned forward, bringing my face close to his. There's nothing on your face. You just look as beautiful as a flower. Clatter! The pen in William's hand dropped to the floor. I bent to pick it up and caught a glimpse under the table, his tightly stretched pants. Still so well endowed. I'd gone too far. I was reborn. But William was still a genuine high schooler. Placing the pen on the desk, I quickly left the study. When William came out, his face was red to the roots of his neck. My dad's taking me to the old house today. We won't have dinner together. Wait! I stopped him as he was about to flee. Tomorrow night, there will be fireworks by the moat. Want to watch them together? Okay. Before bed, I called Lisa. Tomorrow night, I'll distract William. As for Mom, I didn't need to remind her. She knew Mr. Lin's habits. After visiting the old house, he always spent 2 days at home. Chapter 10. By the moat. The cold wind howled. Bright, colorful fireworks exploded in the sky, one after another. As the final firework faded, snowflakes began to drift down from the sky. The young couples around us screamed in surprise and delight. I rubbed my hands together to warm them, then gently placed them over William's ears, which had turned bright red from the cold. William smiled, and it was more beautiful than the fireworks. On the way back, I told William that I wanted to see my mother. Without hesitation, he agreed. The closer we got to the Lin family residence, the more excited I became. In my past life, Mr. Lin, the head of the Lin family, had agreed to a marriage alliance with the Liu family for the sake of his company's expansion. He was to marry the Liu family's young daughter, who was nearly 20 years younger than him. After the Liu family's daughter married into the Lin family, her first order of business had been to push William out of the main house and into a separate villa. Thankfully, Mr. Lin was not a fool. After some persuasion, he allowed William to stay in the main house. But the Liu family's daughter couldn't stand William and subtly sabotaged their father-son relationship. After William's younger brother was born, his bond with his father continued to deteriorate. After the college entrance exams, William chose to study abroad. Tonight, however, was the first time the Liu family's daughter had come to the Lin family home. As we pushed open the door, the noise inside halted William's steps. I took a few steps forward and peeked inside. At the door to Mr. Lin's bedroom on the 4th floor, my mother and Lisa were in a fierce fight, both wearing revealing, seductive nightwear, shouting profanities at each other. "You shameless bitch. How old are you and already climbing into bed? Let's see if I don't beat you to death today. Aw, you're no better. You old hag. How dare you talk to me like that?" The bodyguards gathered around, unsure of how to intervene. Mr. Lin stood at the doorway, his face dark with anger. The Liu family's daughter was standing at the foot of the stairs, her face flushed, looking as though she didn't know what to think. When my mother slapped Lisa across the face, Lisa noticed me standing downstairs. I raised an eyebrow and flashed a smug smile. Lisa's eyes widened. "Lily, it's you behind this." Lisa finally realized what was happening and turned to try and calm my mother down. "Mom, calm down. We've both been tricked by Lily." But my mother, her nightwear torn and now completely unhinged, swung her arms wildly and grabbed Lisa by the neck. "I can't lose face. I'll kill us both if I have to." In the struggle, Lisa was forcefully pushed against the railing. Mr. Lin's face changed. "Quick, pull them apart. We can't afford to lose anyone." The bodyguards rushed to intervene. In the chaos, my mother pushed harder, and Lisa's body twisted awkwardly, sending her falling from the railing. There was a loud thud. Lisa's head struck the stone floor of the living room with a sickening crack. Blood splattered everywhere. Her wide, lifeless eyes locked on me. A shiver ran through me, but I quickly regained my composure. In my past life, Lisa had been the one who caused my death and William's suffering. This was her retribution. The Liu family's daughter, pale with fear, stumbled away, running out of the house in panic. My mother finally snapped out of her frenzy and rushed down from the 4th floor. "Lisa, my Lisa!" she cried, tears streaming down her face. Mr. Lin furrowed his brow. "Call the police." By the time the police arrived, my mother was already incoherent, laughing and crying at the same time, occasionally lunging toward Mr. Lin. As the police took my mother away, I felt a strange sense of relief, like I had finally avenged myself. But as I turned around, I found William standing there, frozen in place. His face was ashen, his expression cold and detached, his eyes full of shock and horror. William didn't know about the grievances from our past life. He must have misunderstood. I quickly suppressed the smile that had crept up on my lips and walked toward William. But before I could explain, he turned and started heading upstairs, not giving me a chance to talk. Just as I was about to follow, the bodyguards blocked my path. "Sorry. Please leave immediately." William's figure disappeared up the stairs. I sighed and followed the police out. Chapter 11. My mother went mad only after committing murder intentionally. So, she was still sentenced, with only myself left at home. The compensation from my father and the money my mother had saved over the years were all handed to me. The total amounted to over 2 million yuan. When my uncle found out, he called me between his words. He hinted that I was too young, and he was willing to adopt me and let me live with him. I don't know how many curse words I said, but in the end, I managed to get him to block me. It was for the best. A clean break. After that day, the marriage alliance between the Liu family and the Lin family was cancelled. William completely disappeared from my life. He didn't reply to messages, and his phone was unreachable. I packed my bags and left that house behind. Chapter 12. 3 years later, on the night after the college entrance exams were finished, I went downstairs to throw out the trash. and as I was about to close the door, a shadow squeezed in from outside. I grabbed the ice hockey stick, ready to swing it, but when I saw the familiar face, I froze. William, reeking of alcohol, pushed me against the wall. "Lily, will you go abroad with me for further studies?" In that moment, it felt like I was back in my past life. I blurted out without thinking, "I don't have money." William froze, his eyes slowly turning red. "That necklace was originally lost. I taught you how to play hockey. We were on the same debate team. We were once together. All the dreams I had, they were real, weren't they?" I reached out to touch his face, gently wiping away the tear from the corner of his eye. "William, don't give up your life for anyone, including me." Unable to hold back any longer, William pulled me into his embrace. "I'm sorry. All these years, you had to bear those horrible memories alone." Chapter 13. William and I reconciled. In this life, we both enrolled in domestic universities. After graduation, William took over the family business. I opened a welfare organization to protect every abandoned orphan. Another winter came, and under the fireworks, William and I witnessed the first snowfall of the season together.